Welcome to another video. Today we're going to see another fascinating story from the world of Star Wars, and I ask you to subscribe to the channel first, so that we can put out more content like this in the future, and let's get to it. Why did Dooku suspect that Yoda had trained in and studied the dark side? Count Dooku was not just any Jedi when he left the Order. He was one of Yoda's most promising Padawans, and became one of the most respected masters on the Jedi Council. But something deeply bothered him about his former master. Dooku increasingly developed suspicions that Yoda was not the pure Jedi everyone believed him to be. The relationship between Dooku and Yoda was always complex. During decades of training, Dooku observed behaviors in Yoda that didn't fully align with traditional Jedi teachings. These observations planted seeds of doubt that grew over the years. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds, and let's continue with the video. The first suspicions. Dooku began to question Yoda when he noticed inconsistencies in his teachings. Yoda often demonstrated knowledge of dark side techniques that went beyond what would be expected of a traditional Jedi. During training sessions, Yoda sometimes mentioned specific details about Sith powers that seemed to come from practical experience, not just theoretical study. Young Dooku observed that Yoda had an intimate understanding of dark emotions. When he taught about fear, anger, and hatred, Yoda spoke with a familiarity that suggested more than academic knowledge. He knew exactly how these emotions flowed through the Force and how they could be channeled. Even more disturbing was the fact that Yoda rarely explained how he had acquired this knowledge. When asked, he would dodge the question or give vague answers about past experiences or lessons learned over the centuries. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds, and let's continue with the video. Forbidden knowledge. During his time as a Padawan, Dooku had access to the most restricted Jedi archives. He discovered that Yoda had been responsible for cataloging and preserving many ancient Sith texts. Officially, this was justified as necessary to know the enemy. But Dooku noticed that Yoda didn't just store these texts. He studied them intensively. Yoda demonstrated knowledge of Sith holocrons that had been lost for millennia. He knew about rituals and techniques not even the oldest Jedi archives contained. This information could only have come from direct sources or practical experimentation. Most alarming to Dooku was that Yoda sometimes applied dark side principles in his decisions as a member of the Jedi Council. He used fear and intimidation when necessary, manipulated situations to achieve specific goals, and made decisions that sacrificed individuals for the greater good, a philosophy more aligned with the Sith than traditional Jedi. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds, and let's continue with the video. Suspicious longevity. Yoda lived for over 900 years, an exceptional lifespan even for his species. Dooku began to suspect this longevity was not natural. He knew that certain dark side techniques could artificially extend life by draining the life force of others or using forbidden rituals. Yoda's vitality seemed inconsistent with his advanced age. In combat, he demonstrated energy and agility that defied natural explanation. Dooku witnessed Yoda fighting multiple opponents with a ferocity bordering on savagery, something not expected from an enlightened Jedi. During deep meditations, Dooku sometimes sensed a subtle darkness emanating from Yoda. It was almost imperceptible, but it was there, a shadow in the Force that suggested knowledge and experience with the dark side. Revealing combat style. Yoda's 7th lightsaber combat form was officially classified as Ataru, but Dooku recognized elements of Sith techniques embedded within it. Yoda used moves that were taught in ancient Sith holocrons, adapted to appear as legitimate Jedi techniques. Yoda's aggression in combat was disturbing. He fought with an intensity that suggested familiarity with rage and hatred as sources of power. Dooku observed that Yoda sometimes allowed dark emotions to fuel his strength during battles, something that fundamentally contradicted Jedi teachings. Even more revealing was the fact that Yoda could predict and counter Sith techniques with a precision only possible through intimate knowledge. He knew exactly how the Sith thought and acted because he had studied and possibly practiced their methods. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds. And let's continue with the video. Morally ambiguous decisions. As a member of the Jedi Council, Yoda often made decisions that Dooku considered morally questionable. He approved missions that resulted in unnecessary suffering, kept secrets that harmed other Jedi, and manipulated events to serve the Order's interests. Dooku observed that Yoda sometimes used mental influence techniques that bordered on Sith manipulation. He could plant suggestions in the minds of other Jedi so subtly that they believed the ideas were their own. Yoda's willingness to sacrifice individuals for the greater good echoed the Sith philosophy that the end justifies the means. He was willing to allow innocents to suffer if it served a larger purpose, a mindset that deeply disturbed Dooku. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds. And let's continue with the video. Knowledge of prophecy. Yoda possessed detailed knowledge of Sith prophecies not found in the Jedi archives. He knew about the Chosen One and the return of the Sith before this information was officially discovered. This knowledge could only have come from direct Sith sources. Dooku suspected that Yoda had found and studied Sith texts containing these prophecies. More disturbingly, it was possible Yoda had maintained contact with dark side practitioners over the centuries, exchanging knowledge and insights. Yoda's accurate predictions about future events suggested he used precognition techniques traditionally associated with the Sith. These techniques required a deep understanding of the dark side of the Force. The final break. These accumulated suspicions led Dooku to confront Yoda directly. When questioned about his knowledge of the dark side, Yoda did not deny having studied and experimented with forbidden techniques. Instead, he justified his actions as necessary to protect the galaxy. Yoda admitted that he had walked in darkness to better understand the enemy. He revealed that he had spent decades studying Sith holocrons and experimenting with dark side techniques, always maintaining control through his Jedi discipline. To Dooku, this revelation was devastating. He realized that the Jedi he most respected had violated the fundamental principles of the Order. Yoda was not the pure Jedi exemplar everyone believed. He was a hybrid who had incorporated dark side elements into his philosophy and practice. If you like the story, please subscribe to the channel. It won't take 2 seconds. And let's continue with the video. The irony of it all. The irony was not lost on Dooku. His suspicions that Yoda had studied the dark side turned out to be correct, but this revelation pushed him into the very arms of darkness. Dooku left the Jedi Order partly because he could not accept his master's hypocrisy. Yoda had found a way to balance light and dark, using knowledge of the dark side to serve the light. But Dooku, unable to accept this moral complexity, chose to fully embrace the darkness he had discovered in his master. In the end, both master and Padawan had been touched by the dark side. The difference was that Yoda had found a way to use that knowledge without being consumed by it, while Dooku allowed his disillusionment to turn him into what he had criticized in the first place. Dooku's suspicions about Yoda were justified, but his inability to accept his master's complex nature ultimately led him down an even darker path. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share it.